Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Mirandasya Anandita Shalakaya Chakshurvamidana Tasmai Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Tadati Padam Vande Shri Guru Shri Yuta Samalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Atan Antam Sajiv Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Mahavishnu Goswami Niti Nahamine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Nahamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Udirayet, Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Word synonyms, translations and purports by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Ram Navami Mahotsav ki Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Bhakt Hanuman ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we all meet again today, and today is our Ramnami Tithi Day as per New Zealand. So we are very fortunate. We are a multinational organization to call that. Yesterday we had celebrated in India and other countries in Asia. Today we are in New Zealand and the Pacific. So I would like to sing a bhajan today to start with it. Um, it is a very beautiful bhajan. There are many tunes to this, but I sing in a particular tune which I had heard, and it appealed to me very nice, very much. So this is the, I don't know, is this the, all right? Can you see this? Right, you can see this now. All right. So open your vocal cords and sing nicely there. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaj Mana Haran Bhava Bhayadarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaj Mana Haran Bhayadarunam Nava Kanjalochana Kanjamukhakara Kanjapadkanjarunam Nava Kanjalochana Kanjamukhakara Kanjapadkanjarunam Nava Panja Kanjapadkanjarunam Kanjapadkanjarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajman Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajman Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam कंदर्प अगणित अमित छबिनव नील नीरद सुंदरम न कंदर्प अगणित अमित छबिनव नील नीरद सुंदरम पत पीत पानव तड़ित रुचि शुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरं पत पीत मानव तड़ित रुचि शुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरं नवमि जनकसुतावरं भज दीनबन्धु दिनेश दानव दैत्यवंशनिकन्दनं भज दीनबन्धु दिनेश दानव दैत्यवंशनिकन्दनं रघुनन्द आनन्द कंद कौशल चन्द्र दशरथ नन्दनं रघु नंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद्र दशरथ नंदनम चंद्र दशरथ नंदनम शिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चारुदार अंग विभूषणम शिर मुकुट कुंडल तिलक चारु दार अंग विभूषणम अनुज भुज सर छप धार संग्राम जीत कर दुश्मन अनुज भुज सर छाप धर संग्राम जीत कर दूषणम जीत कर दूषणम संग्राम जीत कर दूषणम इति वदति तुलसीदास शंकर शेषमुनि मनरंजनम इति वदति तुलसीदास शंकर शेषमुनि मनरंजनम मम हृदय कुंज निवास कुरु कामादि खलगजनम मम हृदय कुंज निवास कुरु कामादि खलदल गंजनम कामादिखलदलगञ्जनं कामादिखलदलगञ्जनं श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भयदारुणं श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भयदारुणम् हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Shri Ram. Please repeat after me. Fold your hands and please repeat after me. Close your eyes. Shri Ram. 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 Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Please. Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram, Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram. Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram, Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram. Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram, Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram. Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram, Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. Jai. Shri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Bhakt Hanuman ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, with this auspicious start now, we will try and discuss something meaningful in today's program of Sri Ram Navami. In the Dasha Avatara Stotra by Srila Jayadev Goswami in Gita Govinda, in the seventh stanza, Srila Jayadev Goswami glorifies and worships Lord Ram. He says, Vitarasi dikshurane dikapatiniyam dasamukha mauli balim ramaniyam keshavadhruta rama sharira jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Ramachandra, all glories to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroyed the 10-headed demon Ravana and distribute his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities of the 10 directions, headed by Indra. This action was long desired by all of them, who were much harassed by this monster. In the Brahma Samhita also, chapter 5, verse number 39, Lord Brahma sings, Ramadimurti Shukala Niyamena Tishthan Nanavatar Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Brahma Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna and the different avatars in the world, in the forms of Ram, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc., as his principal portions. So Lord Ram is one of the principal incarnations of Lord Vishnu, along with Nrsimha and other incarnations like Varaha, Matsya, etc., which are mentioned later. He is total and complete incarnation like Lord Krishna. There are some differences though in the opulences. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada states this in the purport. His subjective portions are the avatars, viz. Ram, etc., appear from Vaikuntha, and his own form, Krishna, manifests himself with Vraj in this world from Goloka. The underlying sense is that Krishna Chaitanya, identical with Krishna himself, also brings about by his appearance the direct manifestation of Godhead Himself. Now, Ram, the meaning of Ram means supreme enjoyer. So, even the Mahamantra includes Hare Krishna and Hare Ram, calling the Lord's internal potency along with Lord Krishna and Ram. Many times, followers of Lord Ram, they they asked, why is Ram meaning not Ram? Why Ram means Balaram in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? So in the 10th canto, the second chapter, this has been clarified by Srila Shukadeva Goswami when he says Rameti to Balaram. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada states that Ram and Balaram are the same, non-different. From this is the particular relevance. So that's how Ram means Balaram. But also Ram is the incarnation, the Swayam Prakash from Sankarshan, which is Sankarshan. So that's why Krishna, Ram, and Balaram are same. Lord Chaitanya also he also sang a particular prayer when he went through the Jharikan forest traveling around Bharatvarsha. He prayed like this: Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna He. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna He. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rakshama. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Pahima. Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Rakshama. Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav, Pahima. So all followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also sing this particular prayer when they are in difficulty or any generally also. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole of Ramayana is summarized in one particular verse. It's a long verse. गर्व अर्थे त्यक्त राजयो व्रचरद अनुवनं पद्म पद्भ्यां प्रियायाः पाणि स्पर्श क्षमाभयां मृजितपत् रोजो यो हरि द्रानुजुभ्याम् वैरूप्याच क्षुर्पणख्याः प्रियवीराः रुषारोपित भ्रू विमृज विजृंभ तृष्टाद्भिर्भद सेतु खलदव दहनः कोसलेन्द्रो अवतान्नः. To keep the promise to his father intact, Lord Ramachandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman or by another monkey, Sugriva, king of the monkeys. and by his younger brother, Lord Lakshmana, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Shupalnaka, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravan to kill him, like a fire devouring a forest. May the Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. So it's very important that we listen authoritative translations of Ramayana. This caution and instruction is given by Sri Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj very early on. Because there are so many people give references, this happened, that happened. We do not know if it is true or not. And even amongst the scriptures, because this has happened so many, some million, 2 million years ago. So there is some discrepancy and differences among the scriptures also. Ramayana may say something, Bhagavatam may say something, a little bit different. Even with 5,000 years ago, also there's some bit of difference. So that's why it is very important from whom we hear these kathas. And what is their, first, whom we hear, and second is what is their source. It is very, very important. When we ask these two questions, I can tell you with guarantee, you will be isolated. You will stand alone. Because the masses of people, including those so-called devotees also, because they do not read themselves, they like to hear different kathas. So what is their source that do not know? But so nice to hear. Very, very nice to hear. Wow. And they'll cry also and they feel emotion. Yeah, we have to be very careful. So that's why, even amongst devotees, we should keep our source of information very selected. We do not discriminate anybody, but we have a right to gain knowledge from the source which we can trust, and that is Srila Prabhupada. Because those devotees also who are going to speak from Srila Prabhupada only. Simple. So you study. So we are saying it's an open book. Our preaching and our teaching is open book. What we are studying from, we're telling you, we're studying from this book. You can also study from this book. But go step by step. Prabhupada says that Srimad Bhagavatam should be studied step by step. Right from Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 1 onwards. Don't jump. And Prabhupada says, by the time you come to the 9th canto, which would mean so many thousands of verses already done. By the time a reader, Prabhupada writes in the preface that by the time the reader comes to the 9th canto, the reader will have reasonable confidence about the existence of God. From atheists, they become theists. And then the 10th canto is introduced with Krishna. And when 10th canto is introduced in the Krishna, I think I sent some message today also in our beginners program. It is very intricate. Each word, there are notes, there are special notes. Normally there is what are synonyms, there are purport, after the purports are over, there are also special notes to give further clarification upon certain things, the tippanis, the tikas of different authorities giving different things. And what is it said? What is our sampradaya say? As we say, that sampradayas say that, different sampradayas have got their own meanings too. So we have to see that. That's why we can follow our sampradaya if we have spent that amount of time and energy reading those scriptures of 9 cantos. Then we are convinced, yes, what has been spoken to in our sampradaya is correct. That's when the tikas from Vaishnav Toshani, Bashar Narottam Das Thakur, by Gopal Champu, in Gopal Champu, Bashar Jiva Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami. So their tikas and their points and their differences we'll be able to appreciate better. And you'll be surprised to know the Vaishnava songs that we sing, they are exact manifestation of all these scriptures, intricate scriptures, and the directions which are given there of the relationships and the energies of Krishna and how they relate to each other. What is the meaning of separation? What is the meaning of a particular word? Let us start with it. Many years ago, we did Ramayana in Auckland. It became very famous from ISKCON temple. It became famous because of Ravan, the character of Ravan. Everybody would come to watch Ravan, and that was me. Seriously. Because the producer, the director of that, he's a nice devotee. He said, see, all children or people want to see the villain. Hero is okay, but the villain should be very important. They all want to come and be afraid of the villain. If they're afraid of the villain and they're enamored by the villain, then they say, wow, this is good. Although the hero is hero, ultimately villain has to die. I'm telling you fact. Take any Bollywood movie also or Hollywood movie also. The villain has to be very powerful personality. What is that famous Bollywood movie? If the villain comes and the villain has a very small voice, nobody's going to believe him. What nonsense is a villain? He's a thin guy like this. He's not a villain. He has to be ferocious. That's right. It should be boom. So I used to enter the stage with my thumping of the feet, down. So even the people sitting on the back seat row at the end would hear the thumb entry. That's when the Ravan enters. Dham, 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 Ravan enter, And I'll hold the Sita, and take her away like, dham, dham, ghapa, ghap, fighting. And then after that, they would make all the, actors float around with the crowd, And with our own dress, I would also be dressed big. My dress I've still got the dress with me, even now. We've got full dress, full drama dress. We can do whole Ramayana. Even with Gada and everything is there with me. Bow, arrow, everything is there. Hanuman, everything is there. All first class. Lord Nrsimhadev also. The nails, everything is there. So we should do that. It's there. We should do dramas now. Anyway, so my son was very small at the time. He would be hardly 5 years and all 6 years. So when at the end, when they would be fighting with Ram and with the arrow, and I had to die, I take one arrow. I said, no, throw the arrow. And I told Ram, give it to me here, so I can hold it. Otherwise, throw here, there, I can't pick it up, so we have to show properly. So Ram would throw the arrow, hold it, and put my hand. I said, I'll fall down. My son would wake up running. What happened to my dad? I said, he's okay. Mom would hold him, and then when drama is over, I come out and he would come and cling to me, I'm all right. And when all the drama characters would float around in the crowd, people would go to Ram and all that, but they're simple, Ram, Lakshman, they've got the dress of hermits, Ravan is popular. Everybody floats around Ravan, surrounding Ravan. This is how it is. Powerful. That is me. Even now they remember Ravan, then Hiranyakashipu. In Lord Nrsimha there was Hiranyakashipu too. Solid. So in that one of I remember the first entry of Hiranyakashipu when we did, So I think that you must be remember. Many of you may remember that Hiranyakashipu drama. As I entered with my thing was that once I enter with the lights and all, we'll put our lights at our own cost, with all this. People should be scared. That's our first entry, first scaring. Should happen. And bang, it would happen. Every time I enter with Hiranyakashipu, like this entry, and kids would start to cry. "Woo," they would go away. Yeah, that's it. I said, that's it, gone. And move back. And then Lord, and then Lord Nrsimha, they also should be big, powerful, but Hiranyakashipu should be there. And then we had um, in the Leela of Lord Chaitanya, Jagai Madhai. So how the Jagai? The Avinashabu, I made him Madhai there, They both were gundas, wearing gunda and with all this mood and come out like this, wearing lungis and all that, Oh my God. He said, oh, wow, my father will be so upset, he would say. So everyone who was in my team, we made them demons and all that. One person ran away from my team. I don't want to become demon. My mother sees this, I'm finished. She's made, and all this. And when I showed my mother my photograph of Ravan and all those things, she was so angry, man. She said, have you made you educated all these things so that you become Ravan like this? Man, what are you doing? They were very angry, man, with me. It took them many years to come to, so it's devotional service. So anyway, Ravan. So, what does Ravan mean? We all say Ravan, Ravan. Ravan has a meaning. When Ravan, the meaning of Ravan is described when actually Ravan dies at the hands of Ram. And his good wife Mandodari laments his death. Now, Mandodari actually is a very, very one of the top ladies in all Vedic scriptures. She is equated with your mother Kunti. Prabhupada writes that, Draupadi, Mother Kunti, Mandodari. So she narrates, she sings, she does a prayer and requests. It's a verse which says, Ha hataha sma vayam natha loka ravana ravana kam yayach charanam lanka tvad vihina parardita ha hataha sma vayam natha loka ravana ravana kam yayach charanam lanka tvad vihina parardita. So ha means alas, he's died. Hataha means kill. Hatya, hataha, kill, he killed. Sma means smaran, in the past. Vayam, all of us. Natha, protector. So you are the protector of all of us. Oh, you have been killed. Loka Ravana Ravana, twice the name came. Loka Ravana is one word and Ravana is another word. Now here the meaning given. Loka Ravana means, oh husband, who created the crying for so many other people. So Loka Ravana means one who created crying for so many other people. And the second word is Ravana, means, oh Ravan, one who caused crying for others. So what is the meaning of Ravan? One who caused crying for others is called Ravan. So Loka Ravana, when she referred to, was when she said that you make other people cry. Loka Ravana. Ravana means then he addressed him, oh Ravan, oh husband, one who makes others cry. Then she says, Come Yayaj Sharanam Lanka. Come unto whom? Where? Yayash will go Sharanam in the shelter of Lanka, the state of Lanka where he was the Pati, king. Tvad parardita. Tvat means being bereft of your good self. Tvat vihina means bereft, without you. Parardita means being defeated by the enemies. The translation says that, oh my Lord, oh Master, you epitomized trouble for others, and therefore you were killed, you were called Ravana. But now that you have been defeated, we also are defeated. For without you, the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? She asked the question. So Ravana's wife Mandodari and other wives knew very well how cruel their husband Ravana was. The very word Ravan means, as we discussed, one who causes crying for others. See, there are people also in this material world who cause crying for other people. So they are Ravan. Anyone who causes crying for other people, like many times the son makes crying to the parents, he is Ravan. He's mentioned there. We'll come to that point also. Sometimes there are demons who keep crying for others. It's Ravan. So it's correct word. It's not a synonym, or to say that to represent some person who's demoniac. No, one who makes somebody else cry is Ravan, causing trouble. So Ravana means continuously caused troubles for others, but when his sinful activities culminated in giving trouble to Sita Devi, he was killed by Lord Ramachandra. Excuse me. So now we all know the main pastimes of Ramayana. We understood now what is summarized. Now we all know that Lord Ram, constructed the bridge. Right? So there's a hidden significance behind it for constructing the bridge, Setu, over the Indian Ocean. So why did the Lord Ram construct the bridge, and why we should be asking this question? So what? Nowadays, our ordinary civil engineer who drinks alcohol, who doesn't believe in God, he also constructs a bridge over the ocean. So what is the difference? We should ask the question. Why are we glorifying Lord Ram for constructing the bridge, which nowadays rascals are making, atheists are making? So to prove that difference to the future world, Lord Ram constructed that bridge. Now let's hear the obvious mystery behind this. Kamam prayahi jahi vishravaso vaheham Trailokya Ravanam avapnuhi Veerapatnim Badhnihi Setum ihate Yashaso Vitatyai Gayanti Dig Vijayino Yam Upetya Bhupaha. So here the ocean, when you say Lord Ram wanted to cross the bridge, make the bridge, wanted to go to Lanka. So he raised his eyebrows and the ocean became terrified. We read that in the translation earlier. Right? So this is that point has come now. where the ocean is terrified. The ocean is saying now, my Lord, you may use my water as you like, the ocean said. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravan, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. See, here also it means Ravan is given definition. He is the son of Vishrava, but is condemned like urine. The significance here, I said urine, I said that kind of son who gives problem. Here comes now. Please go, kill him, and thus reign your wife, Sita Devi. O great hero, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderful, uncommon deed of your lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. So here is a hidden meaning behind it. O great hero, although my water presents no impediment to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderful, uncommon deed, your lordship, all the great heroes and kings of the future will glorify you. Now see, Lord Ramachandra, however, constructed a bridge over the water with stone by making the stone float. This is the God's uncommonly wonderful power. So why should someone be accepted as God without displaying extraordinary potency? By doing something never to be done by any common man. We accept Lord Ramachandra as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he constructed this bridge. We accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he lifted Govardhan hill when he was only 7 years old. So we cannot accept any rascal who calls himself God and he does some magician trick and gives some vibhuti or some watch to you, some expensive watch, and say, oh, he's God. Let him construct a bridge, throw a stone, let a stone float. Every stone float, big, big boulders. Then we will see. You see, the symptoms of the Lord's activities are mentioned in the Shastras. After one understands them, one can accept the Lord as he is. This is the point to be understood. To understand who is God and who's a fake God, one should spend time in understanding the scriptures and digest it. So Lord he also constructed a bridge, but of stones which floated. Which today's or anywhere, unless they invent some kind of that stone which floats, that means they are not stone, they're something else. They cannot match what Lord Ram has done. So this is the proof why Lord Ram constructed. The proof is given by Varuna, the Lord of the Sea there. He says, I can always, but otherwise, he can always part ways and make the way for Lord Ram to go and come back. But nobody will believe. Rascal like us will not believe today. It's all mythology, nobody believes. The mythology word comes from mithya. Myth. Myth, M-Y-T-H, comes from the word mithya. Mithya means that which is not real. So we don't use word mythology. That is given by colonial people who want to demean the Vedic culture. We don't use the word mithya. It is the truth. This is what happened. And that's why even now from NASA image, we all know, we can see the Setu. And there's politics in India, where some political parties, they say this is all, even Ram was not real in all this nonsense, really. Demoniac situation. Now, we also spoke about A child can also become person who gives so much trouble to the parents that they cry. So in the Shastra, there's a mention that a son can be a good son, or son can be a bad son. You see? So a person like Ravan, his father's name was Vishrava Muni. He was a Muni. And his grandfather's name was Pulatsya Muni. Pulatsya Muni is one of the 10 progenitors of mankind. And he was born from the mind of Brahma, Lord Brahma, like Marichi, whose grandson is Ravan. But look how he is. Prabhupada gives example that such kind of people, sons are like urine, putra and mutra, such kind of people. We should not have this. It is mentioned that only when the child is true Krishna conscious and follows the parents nicely, the Vedic injunctions nicely, then is proud putra, or the opposite of that, useless, waste. So how much efforts have to be done by the parents to beget good child? And we understand here Ravan also was constantly thinking about Ram. Devotees also try to think about Ram constantly, positive way. But he does negative way. So his Ram consciousness was not very favorable Ram consciousness. But still it is said, remembering the Lord as an enemy is more intense than as a lover for ordinary people. If we remember our enemies better than our people who are friends, is it not so? Think about it. If you've got 10 friends, all are friends, and you have one enemy, you'll think about that one enemy more than 10 friends. I can tell you this. This is the power of hatred. So we don't want to perfect our consciousness, Krishna consciousness or Ram consciousness in hatred. We want to do it as friend. Now I want to discuss about the point that if Ram is the supreme personality of Godhead, Sita Devi is the goddess of fortune, then how come Ravan, the such demonic person whose name is also one who gives crying to others, how can he kidnap this personality? What right does he got? Is it something like a Bollywood or Hollywood movie where the villain comes and kidnaps the heroine and the hero goes and saves it? Same thing. They all come from Rama and Krishna's pastimes. Even today's movie, the same thing. Whether it's James Bond movie, Hollywood, or Bollywood movie, where people are dancing and all, same thing. You have one hero, one heroine, you got one villain, the villain is doing all wrong things, and then ultimately he goes and kidnaps the villain, the heroine, and the hero goes and saves. They may change James Bond. They may make him speak any kind of suave language, wear all this suave dress, but story is the same. Kisa Pita, same thing again and again. Where Rama and Krishna book are original. So how is it that Ravan could kidnap Sita Devi? This question was raised long ago. I think I came across this question about 18 years ago, 19 years ago. रक्षोधमेन वृकवद् विपिने समक्षम् वैदेहराज दुहितर्य पयत् pitayam, sorry, Vaideharaj duhitari apayat pityayam, Bhratra vane krupanavat priyaya viyuktaha, Stri sanginam gatimiti Prathayam Chachara. This is a very instructive verse. Okay? So Lord Ramachandra entered the forest and Lakshman was also absent. So when Lord Ramachandra entered the forest and Lakshman was also absent, this is when Sita Devi were kidnapped. The worst of the Rakshasas, Ravan, kidnapped Sita Devi, the daughter of the king of Videha. Just as a tiger seizes unprotected sheep from the shepherd when the shepherd is absent. Then Lord Ramchandra wandered in the forest with his brother Lakshman as if very much distressed due to separation from his wife. Thus, he showed by his personal example the condition of a person attached to women. Now I can challenge you. We must have heard about Ramayana so many times, about Lord Ram so many times, but we would not have heard about this point that Lord Ramchandra hunted down, went to the forest searching for Sita Devi. Thus he showed by example, personal example, the condition of a person attached to women. And same way, vice versa, women also attached to husband, same thing. Stri, that is mentioned here, the last sentence. Stri sanginam gatimiti prathayam chachara. Stri sanginam, of person attracted to or connected with women. Gatim means destination of that person. Iti, thus, prathayan, giving an example. Chachara, he wandered around here there. So, Prabhupada, of course, gives a very hard-hitting purport. So here it is, this verse clearly uses the words Sri Sanginam Gatim Iti, indicate that the condition of a person attached to women was known by the Lord Himself, was shown by the Lord Himself. If one is attached to women, of course, vice versa, attached to men. But here mentioned is for women. This attachment is always troublesome, as shown in the by the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his personal example. See, a brahmachari can stay very nicely sitting in one room. He doesn't need to earn income also. He gets whatever he gets of food. I've seen people, when they are brahmachari, not married, they can sleep in one place, no problem. Moment they get married, suddenly they don't know what to do. They said, now we have to get home, or to pay rent, or to get her, she needs proper dressing. She can't wear dress like me. I'm just brahmachari, I just wear torn clothes. We have seen that. So what's to be done? And that is one of the problems in our society today in ISKCON. But brahmacharis, when they become grahastha, they do not have the skills where to go and get money from. Because vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam that we discuss in Nectar of Instruction, we are training people already who are doing these jobs and all how to save themselves from the association and still do the job and come back. Whereas those who are not doing this kind of material activities, they are not involved. They don't have to think like this at all. They don't go to this. There is no association. No problem. Finished. I remember we had a brahmachari devotee. He said, I want to get a job. Please, I want to do something, send money in my India and all. Family is needed. So they had no qualification, nothing. I said, okay, I want to do fruit picking. So from Maharaj, information came, talk to Ambarisa. He said, Maharaj said, do something. I said, oh, Maharaj says, I'll do something now immediately. So I called some few people, we didn't agreed, and we sent a fruit picking job. He said, I want to do fruit picking, apple picking in New Zealand. So he came here, did it. Within a week, he came back. Not because he was tired. He said, I can't stay there. And I did not even know. I had called those people, begged them, requested them, please do something, get him done. He doesn't have qualification, get it done, play all those things. So arrange for it. In a week he came back, without telling me. Now I saw him floating in the temple. I said, what happened? You are here, you're supposed to be there. He said, yeah, I can't be there, Prabhuji, it's too much for me. Oh, so why are you getting so angry, man? So yeah, these people, they don't even take the shower, They wake up, they eat whatever they want to eat, they cook whatever they want to cook, and they go and do their job and come back, they take shower in the night, or after 2 days they take shower. I said, but this is how they are, man. But he's a brahmachari, so he doesn't understand those things. He's a devotee, meaning we wake up in the morning, first thing we take our shower. Get ready, take shower, do Krishna's arti, bhajan, cook for Krishna, offer Krishna, pack for Krishna, packing thing, dabba, and we go for work. Karmis don't do such things. Even now, in India also, people who wake up, who are not devotees, they wake up, brush their teeth, and then tea, they drink, they go to the bathroom and come back and sit like this and watch television and read newspapers, and then they go and take the shower. Man, if these kind of people come to our home, we will die. All of us will die. We die. So when they come to our home, we tell them, listen, first thing you do is you get up morning, first thing, go in the bathroom, do your business and wear a fresh dress and come out. And don't enter the kitchen. You don't roam around if you're not free. You sit in one place, go to the bathroom, get ready and come out. That's it, done. And when they come and see us, so busy, 4 hours, all of us, same thing, No, we work in. There's no question of having tea, having breakfast, and then going to kitchen and taking shower. What breakfast? What? We have to cook for Krishna, man. So wake up in the morning, early morning. We get ready, done. Then doing arti, cooking, cleaning, all this thing, offering, take the offering, washing of the place for Krishna, transferring, washing that, transferring into dabbas, go to work. We come back in the evening. That's how it is. And in the office you go, most of the time in New Zealand, nobody takes shower in the office also. They take a shower in the night. Dirty people. They just put perfume everywhere. All Western countries like this, I'm sorry to say. They don't have concept of cleanliness at all. So when we face this difficulty, what will the brahmachari face? He ran away. I can't deal with this. I can't. But at least, now what do I tell him? You tell me at least how to tell those people. They're saying, he ran away. We don't know where he is. You told us he will come. I said, sorry, bhai. Next time, I said, my God. And I told Guru Maharaj, he ran away. Without telling me. So, this is how it is. If you are, and he can do it. The moment he became married, finished. Everything was his. I'll do everything. Then, before marriage, he's Ugra Nashinga. This is not right. You should change. We should change that. I don't care. We should. I'm happy to sleep here, but this is wrong. That is wrong. All these things he's doing. It's Ugra Nashinga. Jwala Nashinga. Or Jwala comes out from his mouth. All this. Moment he gets married, he becomes Shant Nashinga. From Lakshmi Nashinga, Shant Nashinga. What to do? Has to earn money. He has to tolerate these things. Prabhuji. And that is right. It's women's right to demand good house, good thing. Now, even women are working nowadays, qualified. So what's wrong with it? So we should know what our temperaments are and do. I mean, I used to go and be with my friends who were not brahmachari, but who were single at the time. They were hardly brahmacharis, but they're celibate. And we used to be together, I used to go there, we used to be together. We would cook at 9 o'clock. We would do some programs, television programs, and program is over, then we start to cook. And I would, all right, and we're just yapping around, is cooking, offering to Krishna, take a shower, offering, and then we would have prasadam. Till 10:30, we were discussing, some other devotee comes, brahmachari, we discuss all those things, and we leave, This is how our life was. Easy. I was married. I would tell my wife, I'm eating here, prasadam, don't worry about it. They're gone, Now, when they got married, I can't do all those things with them. So they said, Prabhu, just come, no problem. I said, what come? Now you're married, man. I can't, cannot start cooking at 9 o'clock, 9:30, and we are just talking about things, and then we have prasadam, and some devotee comes, and he knows that here is a single person, single devotee, he'll be cooking, so I'll have something here. So they come, hey, cooking something, cook for me also, This is okay, we're single, but but wives are around. So we have to think. I said, no, we can't do such things. So this is the point to be understood, that attachment, and for devotees who are trained in a particular way. That's why the nectar of instructions are very important lessons. How to deal with material world. So all of you who are learning at the early stage and you've got practical experience dealing with other people, you are better off than those devotees who don't have that practical experience of dealing with non-devotees. It is theory for them. And by the time they come out of it, it is too hard for them to engage. I've seen it. So many examples of it. So many examples of it. Right. So the hidden meaning, we should not be too carried away when it is mentioned here that thus he showed by his personal example the condition of a person attached to a woman. Our mind is very foolish, Our mind will come to a conclusion which is always wrong. I can lay a bet with you. Even I did the same thing. I think, oh, Lord Ram was attached to his wife. This is what he's showing by example, not to be attached to his wife, right? All we thought like this, all of us. This is wrong. That is why we require a pure devotee to give us clarification. Prabhupada writes here, of course, this is material side of Sri Sangha. Material side of Sri Sangha. But the situation of Lord Ramachandra is spiritual. He's God. Okay, he's showing us. Not by personal example means he is falling down. He's not doing this by falling down. He's showing us, you rascal, you guys are doing like this. His situation, Lord Ramachandra's situation is spiritual, for he does not belong to the material world. Narayano paro avyaktat. Narayan is beyond the material creation because he is the creator of the material world. He is not subject to the conditions of the material world. We are subject to conditions of the material world. We don't want to grow old, but we grow old. That is not the case with Lord Ram. Death would not come to his citizens also. It happened even till 5,000 years ago when Lord Krishna's grandfather, when he was the king, Surasena, when people died, Brahmana's children died, he came and knocked at the door of the king. How come in my presence my children have died, sons have died? You are sinful. You are responsible for it, he said. And Lord Krishna accepted it. So Lord Krishna had to go and bring back the children who were dead. So any leader should be that pure that their followers will be satisfied. If the followers are not satisfied, there's something wrong with the leadership. I said, don't become leader. Why to become leader? Now, keep quiet. You get married, you become a leader. There's competition. Who's the leader? Wife or the husband? Nowadays. That's another problem, Big problem. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. That is very difficult, First, there is, as Maharaj says, first, marriage is rings, It's a ring. So first, there is engagement ring. No, engagement. You are engaged. Stop looking at somebody else. Engagement ring. Then there is marrying, That's a marrying. Marrying. You got marriage ring also nowadays, marrying. After some years, then it becomes suffering. Both ways. Don't think suffering only for men. Women also suffers. But that is not finished yet. And then the real ring starts. Then comes a boxing ring. So what happened was one day, there is a Husband and wife are fighting all the time. They're expert fighters. After some years, they're expert fighters. They know when they're fighting, when they know when to stop, when outsiders come, all those things. So the fighting happens there, but they found that their neighbor, from the opposite side, about diagonally opposite side up, that neighbor family, the husband, wife, they never fight, man. From their house, only laughter comes. Loud laughter. Ha 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 ha, laughter. So these two were fighting all the time. They started to think, when we are fighting, how come that diagonally opposite those husband wife, the husband is laughing, then the wife is laughing. What is going on? No? Let us find out what's going on with. They've got some mantra or something, that they are laughing like this instead of we fight all the time. So one day they both went to these people's place. I say, excuse me, knock knock. Yeah, we are very honest. Like all husband wife, we also fight a lot. But when we hear noise from your house, the noise is only about laughter which comes. Only laughter comes noise. Fighting noise does not come. So why is it like this? Can you please explain? We want to also understand your case study. This is too much. So husband looked at the wife there. How I look at the husband, and they both laughed. He said, "See, you don't understand. You don't understand." The wife said that when my husband disturbs me, I throw a dish at him or a villain at him. Now, when that dish hits him, I laugh. And when the dish misses him, then he laughs. That's why you see our laughing all the time. And remember, when there is no fighting a little bit, when there's always nice and smile, all these things, there's always some trouble there. Some problem is there. Better to fight sometimes, but not too much fight. Anyway, let's come to the point. Enough of this husband-wife discussion there. So, Lord Ramachandra's situation is very spiritual. For he does not belong to the material world. Narayano paro avyaktat. Narayan is beyond the material creation. But because he is the creator of the material world, he is not subject to the conditions of the material world. The separation of Lord Ramachandra from Sita is spiritually understood as Vipralamba Bhav, which is an activity of Haladini potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, belonging to Shrungara Rasa, or the mellow of conjugal love in the spiritual world. So this is also the same which we experience with Radha and Krishna, with the gopis and Krishna, the Vipralamba Bhav. So separation in the spiritual world is very intense. The love increases manifold in the spiritual world. Because the potency that is being used is Haladini Shakti. And because they are the creators of the material and spiritual world, they can use those potencies. For us, we are constantly in the external energy of Krishna, Durga, or Maya. And we have to request to be influenced by the internal potency of Krishna or the Haladini Shakti of Radharani. So this is the difference. So what happens is this, that in the spiritual world, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the dealings of love, displaying the symptoms called Satvika, Sanchari, Vilapa, Murcha, and Unmada. Thus, when Lord Ramachandra was separated from Sita, all these spiritual symptoms were manifested. You see, even in the material world, especially this is true when there is a new marriage, when boy meets a girl and they're newly married, or they're in love. They can't remain separate from each other for long. This is true. They see each other in the roti also. They see each other in the glass of cup of tea also. They are thinking, all those things, foolishness. Anyway, so when the separation is there, the love is very intense initially. But material world, it doesn't last too long. After some years, it dwindles off. It has to change into understanding. Love has to change into understanding. This is good for you youngsters. Many youngsters are listening. They don't think that, oh, you don't do in cuckoo's land that my love is always remain, and you watch in the movies and all that. We will die and we will meet next year, next life, and continue love. It doesn't happen. Sorry to say. This is only in movies. And movies are for entertainment. 100 rupees, see the movie. After 3 hours, come out, and if you go back to your work, come to reality. That's why when they cry watching the movie, you say, "Man, it's just a movie, man. What are you doing? Why are you crying? It's not real." Same thing, but we think, man, love is real there. How foolish we are. The same person who's blaming other person, you're crying in the movie because somebody died. He's not real. He's just acting, man. He's okay. That they say, but the same person will think that my love, my life, my love is going to be real, like this life here, love here, and all those things. Foolish, complete samples. We are complete, and we call ourselves so intelligent. We are very, very intelligent. We are very intelligent. We can be fooled very easily. Anyway, so the Vipralamba Bhav and the bhav in which separation in the spiritual world is concerned, it intensifies one's bhakti. When Krishna left Vrindavan as a young boy, he left at a very young age. But in that age, in the year 7 years, he already performed the Rasa Leela with the gopis. The Parakya Rasa was already implemented, which he came to experience. And when he left, he told the gopis, "I'll come again." He never came. There's no answer to this question. There are no hidden answers to this question. That only Krishna knows. There's one answer to that, which says that actually Krishna never left Vrindavan. He always stays in Vrindavan. In the mind of gopis, he was alive because they were constantly thinking about him in separation. So we are followers of that gopi bhav. Our love for Krishna is also, we should follow in the footsteps, not artificially, but the proper guidance. At maturity, it is revealed. It will be revealed to us through the Hladini Shakti of Krishna, if we are fortunate enough, if Krishna is willing to do so, through the mercy of our parampara. Then we can actually experience this separation which the gopis felt with Krishna. When Krishna asked Uddhava to go to Vrindavan, Uddhava looked like Krishna. He used to love Krishna so much that people could not differentiate between Krishna and Uddhava's forms. Same form. So when Krishna requested Uddhava, "Now you please go and you meet my dear devotees, gopis. They are feeling intense separation from me, and just encourage them." So Uddhava went there, and the gopis were astonished to see him. They thought our Krishna has come. But as they went a little near, they understood, no, this is not Krishna, it's somebody else. You see, we should understand one thing, that when in Kurukshetra, when the gopis saw Krishna, but Krishna was the king by the time. Not the cowherd boy which was living in Vrindavan. He was now a king of Mathura and Dwarka. The flute was not present. So they refused, they could not identify Krishna, that he's our Krishna, because he is now Vasudev. He is now the king, the emperor of the whole world. Very rich man. He's got so many women, 16,000 wives. They said, this is not our Krishna. No. Our Krishna was simple cowherd boy, whom we used to tease us, to break our pots. He is a very, very rich personality. So they refused. This was their intensity of love. They could not identify Krishna. So same way, when Uddhava went and met the gopis, his only business was to talk about Krishna, and the gopis' intensity increased in thinking about Krishna. Once when Radharani was sitting and Uddhava was speaking like this, a bumblebee came through. And actually Radharani thought the bumblebee is Krishna. And she followed the bumblebee, started talking to the bumblebee, getting angry at the bumblebee, etc. So that way, Krishna never left Vrindavan. And the love of gopis of Krishna is in the separation, mood of separation. So that is what was experienced by Lord Ramachandra. For Sita Devi. Because he is Sachidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of knowledge and bliss. Thus, he has all the symptoms of spiritual bliss. Feeling separation from one's beloved is also an item of spiritual bliss. Now, Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami, he explains, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikrutir Haladini Shakti. The dealings of love between Radha and Krishna are displayed as the pleasure potency of the Lord. The Lord is the original source of all pleasure, the reservoir of all pleasure. Lord Ramachandra therefore manifested the truth both spiritually and materially. Materially, those who are attached to women suffer, but spiritually, when there are feelings of separation between Lord and his pleasure potency, the spiritual bliss of the Lord increases. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Avajananti mama mudha, manushim tanumashritam, param bhavam ajananto mama bhutam maheshwaram. One who does not know the spiritual potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead thinks of the Lord as an ordinary man, human being. But the Lord's mind, intelligence, and senses can never be affected by material conditions. And the Skanda Puran, there are some verses which are quoted by Madhvacharya. I'll just come to the translation part of it, the highlighting part, which says that actually it was when Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita, it was actually impossible for Ravana to take away Sita. The form of Sita taken by Ravana was an illusory representation of Mother Sita called Maya Sita. When Sita was tested in fire, at the end, when she did Agni Pariksha in the forests, where Ram said, already done. So when the Agni Pariksha happened, that Maya Sita was burnt and the real Sita came out from the fire. You see? So this is the point to be understood, that the love between, although Bhagavatam says this point about Lord Ram, is actually showing by example materially What happens to somebody who's attached to other person? But for him, he was not attached. And their dealings between Lord Ramachandra and Sita, Mother Sita, were in the Hladini Shakti. They were in that spiritual potency, the potency not of external energy, but internal energy of Krishna. Yeah. I thought we should raise these few points. There's some other points also which we can discuss, but I think we'll keep now. We should stop now. We discussed about the summary of the whole Ramayana. We discussed about the hidden meanings of the making of building of the bridge, Setu bridge, why it was done. We understood the meaning of what is the separation between Ram and Krishna. We understood who is Ravana, his background. Does anyone have to say anything on what we discussed so far? Please feel free. Hare Krishna. Ram Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje.
Krishna Prabhu,
Hari Bol.
thank you for sharing and giving us so much information and knowledge and your realizations. You were talking about Ravan, Prabhu, and as you said, Ravan was very powerful. And I remember one of the discussions we had before that Ravan was actually part of that Jai Vijay story. And that's why actually he was created by God himself for Krishna's pastime. And one more thing, when I was not coming to your programs and you were doing dramas, Raman and all those things, actually you were talking about the drama today only with my wife. I said, yeah, about the role. And I remember Krishna Prabhu, how little he was, and he was, yeah, I remember we were sitting in that Hamilton temple. That, yeah. And I think what is Shri Krishna's was Rama or something? No, his wife was Sita. Yeah, so,
Yes.
yeah. We're remembering the same pastime today. And obviously that Jagai Madai. Yeah, I remember that rascal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for a very nice class and very nice realizations. I just had a question that when you were referring to the Ram Setu as the reason for it was that so in going forward in history that people would be able to, it would be tangible proof of the existence and power of Lord Ram. I think now also they found, I think I showed, we both saw together as well, that there was, I think, a cave of Lord Ravan that was discovered, I think, as well. I think you might remember.
Sri Lanka.
In Sri Lanka, yeah. So would that, those sort of things, would that just be in... that wouldn't be the same sort of reason why it's available and that knowledge is available now. Is that or
No,
in terms?
Ravan was a king. His Lanka was it was made of gold, So He can't be living in one small cave, dark cave. So it was just small, not much, but still there. Fragment is there.
Yeah.
Construction of the bridge by a floating stone is in history. Till today, after 2 million years, also people talk about this. They talk about Ramarajya, first thing, and they talk about this bridge of Ramayana. Yeah.
I think the Indian archaeological, whatever the organization, they actually said that there's no proof that Lord Ram built this bridge at all, that sort of thing. But every evidence that they're discovering shows that it was, obviously it was man-made. That much has been established already. But there's a lot of like anomalies, as you've also described. So yeah, that's
Yeah. And also we should understand that Kali Yuga, every yuga has its own prakop. Prakop meaning influence. So Kali Yuga has its own influence too, and it's very degrading influence. The spiritual values of everything is degraded in this Kali Yuga. Just like, for example, in Kali Yuga, if we cheat somebody to make money, we think that person is very clever and he can make money. I cheated somebody, I fooled him. He can be easily fooled. But if you go to see what has happened is that person who got cheated, actually he kept faith in your words, no? And you did not fulfill your promise. So what have you done? Have you grown humanity, or you destroyed humanity one person at a time? Will that person then trust anybody else? This is degradation. And a person ultimately sees, oh, how much money he has made. How he has made, oh, rich man, rich man. Comes in a BMW, or is a politician, is a big man. But through lying, deceit, he has come. And you cannot lie at somebody. To lie at somebody also, you require honesty to show that you are a very honest person. And then you deceive the person. So that person has to be convinced that you are honest. He believed your honesty. And because he believed your honesty, you're laughing at him today that I made you a fool of you. Okay? So how can you expect the stones to still float? Even now. Why should it float? Not possible. They may remain in the same position down, but the space, but still. Please. This we misunderstand this point, The prakop of Kali Yuga is very heavy. Every age. There is no cleanliness, no austerity, nothing that. Only truthfulness is remaining. That's why going away so fast nowadays. People don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear just their glorification. That is social media for you. Social media is nothing else but your own glorification, your own media. Who's a superstar in the whole media? You. Look, I'm eating food. And clicking the photograph. Look, I passed. Clicking the photograph. No, look, my friends are coming. Clicking the photograph. It's you're advertising yourself. You're going more attached. And how much likes have you got? Every second you're checking. Every 2 minutes you're checking. How many likes have I got? And the person who likes, you will like back. And your social media is very nice. Revolutionized. Right. That's right. Absolutely right. We have become animals now. More attached than ever. I'm telling you this. So yes, archaeological evidence would remain, but our best archaeological evidence are our scriptures. It has not changed. Ramayana has remained the same for 2 million years. Srimad Bhagavatam has remained for eternity. Bhagavad Gita remains the same. Krishna says, I spoke the same Bhagavad Gita to Sun God 40 million years ago. He said, same Bhagavad Gita I spoke 40 million years ago. Evam Raja Soya Viduhu. The knowledge was broken from the reciprocal succession. That's why I had to speak again. So that is the point. Archaeologists for India should establish that in India the ancient histories are written in itihasas. Mahabharata is an itihas, means history. Puranas, Bhagavad Puran means ancient histories on earth, in India, on earth and outside of earth. It has not changed. Nothing has changed. And since time immemorial, people have studied them. Those who studied them, they have become self-realized. Their outlook in the world changes. They don't come back to this material world again. Yeah. So we should not be too surprised with what people say, and people challenge or demean the archaeological evidence and all. Just the other day they showed that okay, we found now the proof that dinosaurs were died because of one asteroid broke. This is the biggest proof. 2 days ago it came on the news. So all this while there was no proof. So what were they talking about? Lying. And now the proof is also they're saying something happened 400 million years ago. How can you know today? No, it preserves. What? That's why it preserves. You don't remember your memory, what happened yesterday. Prabhupada says your life is 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. Now, last 10 years and first 10 years, there's nothing, you don't remember anything, in your life. First 10 years, you don't remember. Last 10 years, you don't remember. After 80, after 70, you're in Lala's land, Not devotees, not devotees. So remaining is 60 years. So you are saying in your tiny life, 60 years, you are going to imagine what happened 600 million years ago. How ridiculous is that? Does it make any sense? Carbon dating and this dating, yeah, sure enough, no problem. Is it okay? Yeah, just it's a perspective of things, nothing else.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I've got a question, Prabhu. Maybe a quick clarification. There are two Ram Navamis in a year, Prabhu. One is close to Diwali, and one is this Ram Navami we are celebrating. Is that correct? I know that's
Appearance is now.
yeah.
That is when Ram came back to Ayodhya. There's no Navami there. I don't think
Is
so.
it Dasera?
Dasera is different. That's Dasera, probably.
Yeah.
Not Ram Navami. Navami is appearance of Lord Ram.
Durga Ashtami, Durga Navami, I don't know. Ram Navami. Somebody asked me, I said, okay.
No, only one.
Continuing on that Krishna's Prabhu's question about Ram Setu, people talk same nonsense about Dwarka, same nonsense about Vrindavan, same nonsense about Ayodhya. Means there is no limit to talking those nonsense. These things are existing. Badrinath and all those things still there as mentioned in scriptures. As clear as means they can't see it, so that's their problem.
Yeah. They're not studying, that is the thing. If we study the scriptures, that's why, our Hare Krishna weekend, our focus is based upon, our preaching programs are based upon Srila Prabhupada's books. That's what we are, simple. So we are based upon Prabhupada's books.
Now, in the age of social media, even reading book has become a problem.
Yeah. Becoming more and more. Okay, if someone doesn't have anything to say, then probably we can sing a song and finish.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
Thank you very much for your very nice class, Prabhuji. A lot of new information. I was also thinking about the same point what Avinash Prabhu mentioned, the Ravan being actually they're originally the Dwarpal of Vaikuntha planet Jai Vijay. So actually on Krishna's, because Krishna wanted them to take these 3 births. So I was thinking, because they were also pure devotees of the Lord, and actually means, just to do the service, they have to actually become enemies. Isn't that really means it's not an easy task to do, because someone you love, actually you have to take birth in material world and hate that person. Is that a really great austerity to do or service?
A good question. Actually, this question is answered when Jai Vijay, when they fell from the spiritual world, when they were cursed by the 4 Kumaras. Actually, they were cursed because it was said that the Kumaras were not as purified. They were still having the tinge of impersonalism in them, but still very powerful that they could reach Vaikuntha planet. But very powerful, they remained small children only with their power. So when they were cursed to be born in the material world, they became very afraid and they prayed to the Lord. We don't want to go to this material world where people forget about you. We don't want to be in that position to forget about you. You understand this point? So for a devotee, the biggest problem is not of taking human birth again. The biggest problem is that I should be able to remember you constantly. My remembrance of you should not reduce or stop. That is the biggest problem for a devotee. So this was their problem. And the Lord said, no problem, you take 3 births and you'll come back. So that's why they did not forget him. They remembered him. But you see, the Lord is so powerful, Krishna is so powerful, that no ordinary man can become his devotee, his enemies. Hiranyaksha, extremely powerful demon. When Lord in his incarnation of Varahadev, of boar incarnation Varahadev, there's a fight with them mentioned. It was not easy. Ultimately, he was killed. Just Hiranyakashipu, not easy. But even there, sub incarnations were also there, sub forms. When Hiranyakashipu was there, one of his sons was also Kalnemi. He was also Ravana. Kamsa, basically. So they were devotees, that's why they could remember Krishna in animosity. Shishupal, Dantavakra. There are 3 incarnations. So it was austerity, yes, but they could make him enemy all the time. Because ultimately, it is mentioned that Kamsa also remembered Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, but not from a devotional point of view. So there's a very nice word which has been mentioned there, where how Kamsa remembers Lord Krishna, but in the wrong way, It is mentioned as unfavorable Krishna consciousness. There's favorable Krishna consciousness, unfavorable Krishna. Now Krishna consciousness is there, but unfavorable there. You see? So it's not recommended that you make Krishna as an enemy and you think about Krishna all the time as an enemy. So that's why I said no, it is unfavorable Krishna consciousness. So we should become Krishna conscious, not unfavorable, positive. Anya vilashita sunyam gnana karmadi anavrutam anukulena Krishnano. So it's anukulena. Anukulena Krishnano. So our love for Krishna should be anukul, with favorable, not unfavorable. Unfavorable devotional service is what Kamsa did. Yeah. So it was difficult, yes, for them to come to the material world, but they remembered Krishna. Similarly, the gopis who could remember Krishna in separation, they were not ordinary cowherd girls. They were devotees of Krishna from the previous birth. When they saw Lord Ram in Dandakaranya forest, the sages, okay, they were worshipping Madhurya Rasa. They saw the beauty of Lord Ram and they said, we want to come in Madhurya Rasa with Lord Ram. So they came as gopis. So what happens is that Srila Jiva Goswami says this, that pure devotee before reaching Golok Vrindavan is given an opportunity to be in the planet where Krishna is appearing and take part in those pastimes. When they perfect it, then they go back to Godhead. You see, just like when a jiva dies and takes a next birth, there's a gap of about 6 earthly years, 6 earthly months. In that, whatever is the inclination of that particular jiva and this birth, when he's going to take the next birth, he's trained for those births. So if he has got inclination for electrical things or accounting things or marketing things or whatever it is, or the life that he is living, he's trained up for that. It's all full mechanism going on, which you don't know about. Similarly, when a devotee goes back to Godhead, he's also trained up in that. So these were these people, and all the demigods and their wives took birth. And they were also in the process of going back to Godhead. So the remembrance was there. See? Similarly, then the Jai Vijay remembrance was there. But because Krishna wanted to fight, you see. Prabhupada says Krishna is a young man, 17-year-old man, 16-year-old boy. So he requires a lot of energy. Sometimes he wants to fight. Because in the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan, everybody is surrendered, He says, fight. They say, okay, Krishna, how can I fight with you? Here, I fight. He wants fight, meaning fight, like an enemy. That's when he loves. Yes, then I'll also fight you. Dishum, Dishum. That's how then Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and all this, Dantavakra, Shishupal, Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, they all came as enemy, seething with anger. You see, when Ravan, Kamsa knew, when Kamsa found out that the 8th son of Devaki is going to kill me, he was constantly wanting to kill Devaki. Finish. I'll kill her and finish it off. But when she became pregnant, then he started to think, man, she's become pregnant now. So if I kill her, I'll get bad name. People will think, oh, I'm a slayer of my sister who's a woman who's pregnant. So he thought a great deal, He's a clever person. He knew about the next life and all that. And he thought and he meditated and he said, okay, all right, let me do one thing now. Actually, I will wait for the sun to come out and then I'll kill her. I'll kill them both. So then she's no longer pregnant, right? This was his plan. He said, okay, then I'll wait for the child to come out. Now the episode is such that in one side you've got Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all the demigods and the sages, including Sanat Kumar, all the Kumaras, Narad Muni, all the sages they came invisibly in Kamsa's home, palace, where Devaki was situated, chained. They came to pray to him, pray to her, and pray to the Lord. They're waiting for the Lord to come. Okay. At the same time, it is mentioned that Kamsa was also waiting for the Lord to come. But the reason for their coming is different. Waiting is different. He says, "Come out, I'll kill him." And I said, "You come out, my dear Lord. We're waiting for you to come." So this is seething with anger. Poisonous snake, venom. This is what Krishna wanted. That's why he said, "Now I'm ready to come." Now, when you're ready for me, I'm ready for you. Otherwise, what is the maja? There is no maja. When your enemy means enemy, sworn enemy means sworn enemy. Is it okay?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah. Thank you. Very nicely explained, Guruji.
Jai Hare Krishna.
So it is also in one way giving pleasure to Krishna, isn't it?
It is only to give pleasure to Krishna. He wanted it, we are doing it. But I was laughing when I read this, that Kamsa was also waiting. I laughed so much. I laughed. This is great, fantastic. They all are waiting anxiously. He also waiting anxiously. So he comes out and kill them both, Oh man. This is Pakka devotees, is it not so? Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Babaji. Thank you so much for such a nice class. However much I was able to hear, it was really, really nice, and it was really informative as well. I just have a question. So it's not a burning question, and please forgive me if it's inappropriate or anything. But there has been a lot of growing kind of a change of opinion or controversy, whatever you call it, regarding firstly the episode of Agni Pariksha of Mother Sita. So there is a lot of growing apprehension regarding that episode. And to be very honest with you, I'm not really aware of that entire thing at all, the story or the pastime. And secondly, about the innate evilhood of Ravana, because a lot of people I hear these arguments thrown around by people that even though he did kidnap Mother Sita, he never touched her and things like that. So that's how people try to kind of advocate for Ravana. So these two things have been a lot of a point of kind of some controversy or debate recently. So I just wanted to kind of get some clarification on that subject. So yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Well, I can tell you one thing, it's not something new. This controversy, this debate is not new. It is there since it's a long, long time immemorial. So first thing is, those people who think Ravana is good, they are themselves Ravana. They want to follow him. That's why they're promoting him. Such a nice fellow he is. Is it not so? Only if you want to follow somebody, you glorify the person, right? Otherwise, why will you glorify the person? So this is the answer for that. They are demons themselves, demonic tendencies. In Kali Yuga, there will be more demons like this, Second thing about Sita, we understood this point of Maya Sita and real Sita. I gave the example here, It's mentioned there that it is mentioned in the Padma Puran that actually what Ravana kidnapped her. How can he never touched her? How do you kidnap her? He said, "Come, my lady, come with me here. He is my, push the Viman there. Sit in this. I'm going to kidnap you." People don't kidnap like this. Certainly, Ravana did not do that. He came as a deer, and all that, Not Marichi, sorry, but he came as a sadhu there, in that wish. So he came there with the intention of kidnapping. The kidnapping was done through snatching her. So the question should be, how can he snatch her? I'm not saying that he's so good that he did not touch her and all those things. That's not the case. So that's where, for that thing, she cannot be touched. That's why her Chaya Sita or Maya Sita was given there. She came and she was the one who was taken away, not the real Sita. And then once the Ravan was killed, we discussed that point, and when they were coming back, that is when, in front of the demigods, she was given to the, again, these are again further Puranas I have not read myself, on which shlokas and all, but it's like this, that Agni Dev, she took her, accepted her as her daughter. And then when it was all done, it was said 2 parikshas were given by her. One was in the forest, when Lord Saram said, okay, give us your chastity. So she was walking through the fire, and if you come out, you're all good. So that is when the Chayasita came as this. But there's again what has been spoken, like here we discussed about how Lord Ram also acted like an ordinary human being attached to wife. That was not the case. He was showing to people how it is. His relationship is transcendental, spiritual. But unless one is a devotee, one doesn't understand these things. And usually when they discuss these things, they discuss over some drinks. That's what it is. It's a point of discussion. Ravanas, And this question was raised 20 years ago also. Before that also 20 years ago it was raised. Always keep on raising. And because Ravanas are going to be there more and more. But this is the truth. So that is how Agni Pariksha was actually a reason only. Main thing was Ram wanted to get her back as her eternal consort. She could not stay away from him. He could not stay away from her. And the last point I did not discuss, maybe because of time paucity, I wanted to keep some question answer time, was this: how could she live separately? How did she went to Mother Earth? Because she could not live separately. Even the second time when Lord Ram had to reject her. Not reject is not the right word, but for people is this thing. So he was a king. He had to show how a king has to live life. That's it, And so there is no real truth behind this. That she had to give Agni Pariksha and all that, And then second time was when the rascals people said, you have to prove her this. So that's not what Bhagavatam doesn't say that. Bhagavatam says that she left after giving the 2 children, Lavkush, to Valmiki Muni, because she could not stay separate from Lord Ram. So she left. And Lord Ram became very upset about this. That she had to leave. Because she could not stay separately. Like Yashoda Maiya, she could not stay away from Krishna. When he left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, she died in separation. Similarly, Dasharath Maharaj, when Lord Ram left, he died in separation. Similarly, Sita also could not live separately from Ram. It's not possible. A devotee cannot live separate from their beloved or Krishna or Ram. They cannot. We are living is a surprise, actually. But so far, we could not even discuss it in public, because people are living separately without God very nicely. So we have to make devotees. Prabhupada made devotees and then taught them. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita towards the end that one who shares this knowledge to my devotees is very, 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 very dear to me. And nobody can be more dearer to me than him who shares this knowledge about Bhagavad Gita to my devotees. He says to my devotees, not to ordinary people. Ordinary people, you have to change them into devotees and then share this knowledge. It's a very tough process. That's why preaching cannot be done. It can be done only by Krishna or his empowered souls, followers like Srila Prabhupada. That's why there's potency in the words. And your perfection is when you just repeat those words without distortion, without any material motive, without being afraid people are going to go away, people will be feeling angry, People will stop coming to the program. Let them. It's their fault. It's their loss, not ours. Simple as that. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anyone wants to say anything else before we finish today's program? No? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So we've got Navina here. She's going to sing today. You're going to sing Maharaj. Maharaj, please hear us.
Yes, Babaji.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So you can sing now. Okay. When you're ready. You ready now? Right. 1, 2, 3.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you we will sing.
We will sing.
If our room is clean,
If our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
Our mind is clean.
we can do anything. If our room is
If our
dirty,
room is dirty,
then so are we. And if we are dirty,
we are dirty.
we're not happy. Wasting time
Wasting time
is the greatest crime,
is the greatest crime.
because wasted time means a wasted mind.
Wasted mind.
The best is your time
So best is the time
when you're in your prime. Then your whole life will be sublime.
is sublime.
If your wealth is gone, then there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone, that's a different song.
That's a different song.
But if your character dies,
If your character dies,
then the world will cry.
then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior
Behavior
lets humanity thrive.
lets humanity thrive.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We must always remember
We
Krishna
must always remember Krishna
and never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
How are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here is the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely
So listen very closely
and make your thinking sharp.
and make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
This is how to. If some things due tomorrow,
If something due tomorrow,
Finish it today. And whatever's due today, do it now, don't delay. Your friends might be lazy or doing bad things. But if you think again, don't follow them.
But you think again.
But you think again, don't follow them, and you will win then. Whatever work we given, we do our very best. We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
Only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
Is how to live, so what can to pay? If you learn to live this way, we'll see Krishna every day. And when our time is up, he'll take us up above. We sing and dance with him with our hearts full of love. So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. The only way this world can never become same. Now please ask this greatest question and find this greatest clue. You can only remember Krishna if Krishna remembers you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Jai, His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ram Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan Mahayagna ki Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Bhakt Hanuman ki Jai. Ram Navami Mahotsav ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Shri Gauranga ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Ustaya Bhutala Srimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namo Vishnupada Krishna Ustaya Bhutala Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pachayane Nivishesha. Okay, Hare Krishna. With this, we complete our today's program. Let us keep meditating upon Sri Sri Sitaram Lakshman Bhakt Hanuman for the rest of our lives. And we meet once again, Krishna willing, this Sunday, same place, same time. Till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna, 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 Hare.